Good afternoon. On behalf of the family, I welcome you here today as we celebrate the life of Jan, Cauley, Franks, Langley, Mallett, Minckley. I know that the family so appreciates your presence here today. It always amazes me when we gather for a celebration of life that each person here knew Jan in a unique and different way. Some of you knew her from her time here in Austin, in all the many things that she was involved in, or maybe you knew her from Comanche, her original home and where she spent her time after retirement. Some of you may not have known her personally, but you know family members. And so through them, you're connected to Jan. So each of us here today make up the tapestry, which was Jan's life. So as we gather today, may this be a time of celebration of a life well lived.
I'd like to thank you guys for letting me speak here and making it easy for me, so thank you. This is a reading from Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry earth, the land, earth, and the gathering together of the waters called the seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself, upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be the lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested upon the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Amen. God bless us all. Okay.
If you know the words, or even if you don't, sing along. La La always works. I was standing by my window one dark and cloudy day when I saw that undertaker come to carry my mother away. May that circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Well, I told that undertaker, undertaker, please drive slow. For that body you are carrying, I hate to see her go. And may that circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. And may that circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Yes, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
This poem is The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
I am reading Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Ferguson, and Jan was my mother-in-law, but she was so much more to me and to others. Jan Cauley Franks was born on June 22nd, 1930. She arrived after much anticipation by her parents, Porter and Tilly Franks, at her grandparents' house in Comanche, Texas. After retiring and the death of her husband, Bill Minckley, she returned to Comanche, a house 1 block away from her grandparents' house on Walcott Street. Jan passed away and left us on January 9th, 2022 at her daughter's house in Austin, Texas, surrounded by love and admiration. Jan entered a household with a strong, outgoing father, elegant, sophisticated mother. Jan was outgoing, but perhaps not interested in being elegant or sophisticated. She devoured books like her mother and trailed her father to the funeral home and dairy farm, learning from her mother, and the ideas of the books gave her while receiving confidence from her father that she could change the world. As a consequence, Jan was not rule-bound, and from an early age, it was clear she had her own mind and lived by the motto, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." In fact, as a first grader, Jan walked the few blocks from home to school. Tilly was concerned about it, though, that she arrived at school on time and said, "Now, Jan, it's time for you to start out for school. You don't want to be late." To which Janie applied, "Oh, that's okay, Mother. I've already been late several times." Investigation revealed that she had passed a small dog and his house on the way to school and regularly stopped by to play in the house with the dog, therefore arriving late to school. Tilly was mortified. Jan was sad that she couldn't play in the doghouse anymore. Another childhood example of Jan's unwavering iron will was in the famous Shirley Temple look-alike beauty pageant, with a Shirley Temple dress as the prize. Jan, entered by her dignified mother, was lined up with the other contestants, receiving instructions for their chance in the spotlight. One at a time, the girls to walk slowly to the center of the stage, walk a tight circle, and then walk back to the stage wings. Ruth Ann, standing in front of Jan, carefully walked slowly, made a proper circle, and walked back. Critiquing her performance, Jan thought, well, I can do better than that. Jan really wanted that dress. So, in for a penny, in for a pound, Jan set off twirling all the way to the center, stopping for a center twirl and finishing off with spinning back to the stage wings. Tilly was mortified again. Jan was dizzy, and Ruth Ann won the dress. The die was cast for Jan. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Jan's determination extended to fun activities. She thoroughly enjoyed playing games. In fact, as a child, she learned to beat her cousin, Joe Paul Tuppen, at the Mulberry Peg with an ice pick Porter taught her how to use. As an adult, she was such a demon at backgammon and Mexican train. One by one, people refused to play with her anymore because they could never win. Jan could not bring herself to let others win. If no one would play with her, there was no crossword or logic puzzle that could elude her. Jan's competitiveness and strength of will served her well in proudly attaining the highest academic achievement, her PhD, from the University of Texas at Austin. Porter and Tilly were extremely proud of her. True to her liberal ideas, Jan served multiple populations in her academic life. She delighted in functioning at the local, state, or national level in keeping with her generous soul. She supervised research, compiled reports, proposed authentic approaches for diverse populations. The Governor's Council for different populations in Utah and Texas benefited from her knowledge and proposals. Able to work with opposing forces with a light but encompassing hand, she worked with compromise with Senator Orrin Hatch, a Republican, and Senator Ted Kennedy, a Democrat, in drafting the landmark legislation's Americans with Disabilities Act. In this way, she was an integral figure in changing the world for people with disabilities, identifying and fortifying rights for populations that have been long ignored. Her motto was not just damn the torpedoes. She believed in a just society for everyone with no bars for development of individual potentials. Jan loved children. Her 5 daughters were the light of her life, and her son-in-law, of course. She raised them with love, intelligence, a lot of management skills, and support from her parents. She diligently saved S&H stamps for the girls to go to the Girl Scout camp and hinted at answers for endless math homework questions for some of the girls. Integrity was at the top of the list of characteristics Jan demonstrated for the girls, and later one son. She was always asked to be a Girl Scout leader or functionary because of her blithe spirit, trustworthy nature, and iron will to compete anything she started. With such an able mind, she could capture the moon for her girls and regularly did so. Jan could do anything. In particular, she sewed the gown for Dee Dee to win the Miss Charm and Grace contest, carefully putting at least 3 complicated patterns together. Jan sewed deep into the night the day before the contest, finishing with Dee Dee's prize dress because Jan knew the value of competition dress. She fought to get her undergraduate degree over 20 years, one course at a time, barely making ends meet. Once she had the degree, she immediately obtained a job as a speech pathologist in Lubbock Independent School Systems. All of a sudden, the girls thought they were rich. Her determination didn't stop there, though. Moving her girls to Austin for another adventure, she succeeded in attaining her PhD in the next 3 years. Her family was deeply missed her unexpected courses of actions over her long life with their surprising substance and charm. Who could predict that art talent would accompany new granddaughters to the family or new countries to its beaten path? Gifted with painted talent, Jan painted canvases to remind her of her daughters. Ballet slippers, roller skates, not gifted with cooking talent, she said. Recipients always said her meals tasted good, even if they really didn't look too good. She always presented a positive outlook and shared her "damn the torpedoes" view with generations of her family. One daughter remembers Jan swimming laps in an outdoor pool one summer evening while the Lubbock sky continuously flashed bright with summer or heat lightning. Jan calmly swam back and forth for hours. Her daughter, mistrusting the behavior of electricity, however, refused to stick one toe in the water and sat on the dry deck watching her. Jan swam on. Grandchildren benefited from her outlook on life. If parents said no to an activity they proposed, they could always reach out to Grandjan, who always said, "Why not? Let them do it." Happy as larks, they set off, much to the doubting fears of the parents, but fortunately with no permanent damages. Jan wasn't intrepid. She led the family down the rivers of Utah on weeks-long solitary trips. She even kayaked Big Mallett, a dangerous rapid by herself, landing with a shin bruise that stayed really with her for the rest of her life. To her, it was a badge of honor. She loved it. Jan had explored river rafting trips and insisted the family and close friends go on them. They became a cherished and restoring annual event, marking participants with an abiding love and respect for nature. Confined to her bed the last several years of her life, Jan's wit was undaunted, although her window of the world became CNN TV and game shows, and she still won the game shows. True to her insatiable intelligence, she watched CNN nonstop during the last administration, not only following the stories, but being one jump ahead, knowing the next move. Unafraid and compromised each day, her workaholic son-in-law brought her to the morning medicines, told her he loved her, kissed her forehead, and said, "See you tonight." She would reply, "If you make it home before tomorrow." Jan believed in truth, kindness, and justice. She acted with love to accomplish these things. Her family remembers and admires her bravery in the truly difficult times she weathered and loved beyond measure the example she embodied in developing her own potential for the world-altering success and her warm, engaging, and delightful personality. Damn the torpedoes, Jan. Carry on full speed. And I leave you with this today. To make a difference in someone's life, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to be beautiful, and you don't have to have a Shirley Temple dress. You just have to care. And that's what Jan did. She so cared. Thank you.
The family wanted an opportunity, if there are those of you, either part of the family or friends, who wanted to share a story about Jan. So if any of you might want to take a moment to come up here and just speak a word or two.
So I'm not one to get up in front of people, but I wanted to give my expressions. My name is Gloria, and I was a caregiver for Jan for 2 years. In that time, I learned a lot. I would go into her in the mornings, and my name tag was upside down, and tell her to open her big blue eyes. And she'd open them up and look at me and said, "They're brown." And I said, "Oh, good morning." And she would reply, "I want my coffee and I'm ready for my breakfast." After her medication, she couldn't always take it. She had to wait a little while, and she was impatient, as always. I would tell her to put her horsey on hold, and she said, "I don't want to." So we went through this routine every morning, but in that, he did ooze a lot of love. She would look at my face every morning and see if there was trouble, and they helped me through some hard times. Jan, I didn't expect her to ooze so much love and her family, but I will always remember in my heart Jan Mallett and the family. Lynn and Jim, I love you both, and I will always be with you in my heart. And Jan, too. Thank you. Thank you for the honor.
Hello, my name is Ana Escamilla, and I'm not much of a public speaker, so forgive me. But Jan came into my life when I was working at the University of Texas. We both were working at the Texas Center for Disability Studies. I learned a lot from her. She taught me a lot about disability, but she also taught me a lot about life and living. And she became kind of my second mother in many ways. Somewhere in there, I decided I needed to go back and get a PhD. And I had a writing disability, among others disabilities. And writing a dissertation became a real headache. And so I explained to Jan how difficult this was for me. And of course, she understood. And she said, I'll help you, Anna, don't worry. So bless her heart, with all the patience that she had, I would write and I would print it out for my computer, and we would have this pile of paper, and Jan and I would go through the pile of paper, and she would correct all my grammar and everything else, and she would cut out the pieces that didn't need to be in that place and put them in other places, and we would use tape and tape them all. By the time we finished, we had a big roll of paper that was my dissertation. And luckily, I was able to finish that doctorate, and thanks to her, I went on to teach college and am now retired. I will never forget how she cared about me and how she cared about her family and how her family just supported me through this hard time that I had just getting this little doctorate. So that's all.
Uh, My name's Sally, and I consider Lindsay, who's one of the grandchildren, to be my best friend. And I've spent a lot of time with the family, including, I always called her Grand Jan like the grandkids did. And I wanted to share the first time I met her, we were in high school. And I think because my family never went camping, Lindsay said we need to go camping, her and me and our friend Stephanie. And she said, we knew our parents wouldn't let us go alone, but Lindsay insisted that we'd have so much more fun if Grand Jan went with us, if she was our chaperone, that she would give us more freedom if we had Grand Jan. And we did, and it was true, and we had a great time, and I really liked Grand Jan. And Lindsay, I'm sure she never told your parents that she let the three of us go kind of hiking in an area by ourselves. And we were gone a little bit too long, and it got kind of dark, and it took long. Anyway, she wasn't happy with us because we came home kind of late and kind of dark. So I don't know if she ever told you all that, but we did always. I looked forward to seeing Grand Jan, and I did enjoy my time with her.
Thank you. If there are no others, David, would you like to come and read?
From the first book of Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity.
You'll share that? Yeah. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
I had a bell, I'd ring in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
Oh, Steve.
I had a song.
If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out the love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
Well, I got a hammer, and I got a bell, and I got a song to sing all over this land. I sing out danger, I sing out warning, I sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm Jancy Langley. I'm one of Grand Jan's granddaughters. This is a reading from Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace.
John 3:16, gospel in a nutshell. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
One bright morning, when this world is over, I'll fly away to that land on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, fly away. I'll fly away in the morning. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away, fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to that land where joys will never end. I'll fly away, fly away. Y'all sing. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away, fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Oh Lord, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I fly away, fly away. I fly away, fly away. Yes, I fly away, fly away.
Following the benediction, I'll invite you all to join us in the atrium for punch and cookies and just a time of fellowship and remembering. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.